Hello everybody, this is Fanny. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome for this final episode number 17 of the United series. So this is going to be an amazing session. I hope that you have watched. I think every single one of the sessions of the series was amazing because it was focused on a specific job and area of expertise, from the United Nations, where I wish to start working really soon. So as you know, the United Nations was creating to develop a harmony in the world, in between nations, in between organizations, and around specific goals, right? Because everybody has their specialty in their life that is more important. Maybe you're more focused into work or relationships, but as a quality of life, they found that there are 17 goals or areas of attention that need to be worked most specifically on, like quality education, food for everybody, sustainable development, technology, clean energy, clean water. What else? Partnerships. This is what we're going to do today. Partnerships on the goals. Okay. You also have life on land, life on water, industry, justice, equality, gender equality. There's so many. Okay. So all of this leads us today to a new presentation of the Pachamam Art Encyclopedia, focusing on our goal, which is partnership to what end? A clean environment and peace in the world, of course, and happiness. Because if there is peace, then you, instead of focusing on the external stuff that is conflictual, that is paradoxal, you get to focus on yourself and your own growth, and happy people make a happy world, right? So today, that we're going to be talking about the encyclopedia, and then I'm going to, so in my encyclopedia, there's many topics: art, politics, mindset, religion, spirituality, culture, all of these topics, right, that I've talked about before. But it's also a catalog presentation of all the people that have inspired me along the journey during these 10 years that I was looking for a job and I couldn't find a job because the universe wanted me to keep going all in on my paintings and on my message and creating content maybe for those who come after. So hopefully you watching this video, and while I was painting, that was the beauty about it, is that while I was painting, I had to sit down. So I was either listening to music or I was listening to conferences from scientists or geniuses from all how do you call it, ways of life, right? I'm losing all my words today. It ended up going politics, business, self-development, education, ancient knowledge and civilization, all this kind of stuff. So this encyclopedia, here is the cover that I hope is gonna look just like that, a partnership between my business Pachamam Art and the United Nations, the Pachamam Art Encyclopedia, right? So there is a repertory of everybody, and they all offer courses of their own, trainings, books, and masterminds. So I promote all this in the book, so I'm going to introduce that. Then we're going to do a little oracle reading from two oracles that I like. One that is called Gateway of Light Activation, okay, like a little talisman to activate those partnerships, and Magical Time, because this is a loop back to the beginning. Why did I start all this? Because the magic that I could see everywhere in the world when I was traveling and connecting with the environment and feeling the power of nature and Pachamama, that really brought magic into my life, feeling like I was always guided, always inspired. And this was my goal in painting, in bringing those symbols through the art, is to bring these shamanic vibes into America, into a society that's more engineered, focused, scientist, economic, business, action, right? Where I was coming more from a background of being, right? What kind of values and moral, and not necessarily achievement and finances and all of that. Which is why I struggled so much when I got to America, because that was not my mentality at all. So I had to create the need for what I felt was important and was lacking, okay, in wisdom, until the journey took me to the people who had the same mindset, right? At the United Nations is the headquarters, the nest, right, of the environmentalists and activists and people who've traveled and multicultural background and stuff like that. And then we're going to read an extract from the life and teachings of the Masters of the Far East, which was recommended by my first inspiration, Lucille Houssin. Her nickname is Lulumineuse, right? She was one of the first when I got in America that had a conference called End of the Mystery about spirituality. And she was explaining how things are really simple, actually, when, you know, they're like, oh, she's a psychic, or she's a channel, or she can astral travel and stuff like that. Actually, we all do that, okay? When you're dreaming at night, you're astral traveling. Your consciousness is out of this reality and traveling to different worlds, and you're bringing back information in the morning when you wake up. Whatever pieces, you have several dreams at night, but whatever piece you remember when you wake up and you're bringing back to you, right, is what you're here to, a message that maybe is going to make you think or influence you then in your life. So let's start with our goal. So you see behind me I have my Terramana Tequila Metatron on the Rocks painting with the Blue Angel and the Thunderbird, those pilots who inspire me so much because they're the symbol of excellence and of the elite of the nation, of working hard, you know, for years with extreme discipline to getting to the top of the skills and representing a whole organization, right? So they are doing the show, but essentially they represent quality and excellence and precision and arts also of the Navy. So that is where our fields of interest and passions meet, is into the art and the symbolism. And when they do their shows, they have so many like figures and delta and separation, and through the social media. So even in the Tablet of Emerald, they talk about it when they're saying there would be, you know, as above so below, but in the end you realize that there is no above and there is no below. And even the people from underneath the surface, pretty much they call from below, but not doesn't mean below in terms of importance, but from below, behind the image. Who is on social media? When you see the United Nations, they're posting stuff. When you see the Navy, they're posting stuff. On the Navy, for example, who is posting? The spokesperson of the Navy, their master communications teams, right? So they have special commands there for communication. That is what message you want to expose to the world. What is our strategy right now? What do we keep for ourselves because it's national security? What is the partnerships we want to develop? What is the image we want to give? All these people, they are actually pulling the strings of the partnerships because they're at the door, they're the storefront. Nowadays, in our social media era, they are the door to our organizations. And this is how we develop this network through Facebook, social media and stuff by starting playing with the pictures, the messages, when you post, I respond, and all of that. And then he created a giant art network where we've learned to stage and to amplify the quality of our message, okay, and the perception that others have. 10 years ago, oh my God, the Navy, even now, when you look at the president, there are so many trolls and insults all the time, everywhere, you know. So we're removing that by using transparency. You see how the government now, they're filming everything that they're doing and they're sharing on Facebook. It doesn't matter how many people are hating and commenting, criticizing, and they're into conspiracy theories, because now there's no much room for conspiracy. Everything is transparent, everything is exposed, okay? So it helps a lot to unify, and these plot theories can vanish. You even know what's going on in Russia right now. If you want to see what Vladimir Putin is saying to his troops, go to their Facebook page, everything is posted, okay? This is how you establish communication and everything. So the great goal of this series, of working for the United Nations, of creating a Metatrons cubes, all of that, peace in the world, is to create a reconciliation. Okay, so at the beginning, I started writing a book called The Great Reconciliation. But then I was like, I need to tell my stories, some, because I have some crazy stories, and then some of them I can't even tell in the book. But then I studied art to illustrate, and I was like, oh well, now then they censored my Instagram page. So my Instagram was my storefront. I had my stories, my text, my art, and everything. It got censored and disappeared. So then I was like, oh well, then if it can be on the internet, I need to create a book. And I brought all of my art and my portfolio into this encyclopedia. So in the end, I decided not to call it The Great Reconciliation, but the Pachamam Art Encyclopedia, because the content was so extensive. But I did write a little prophetic text called The Great Reconciliation. Okay, so I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to quickly introduce all the people that I love, really like dear friends, even though we're not really talking or I don't know, really working together as official partners, but there is always this invisible string between all of us, between our speeches, between our networks, and we promote, so the message is harmonious, and the more it's exposed and the more it enters people's mind, and this is how you elevate the consciousness at massive level. Okay, so The Great Reconciliation. I'm so happy I found an angel. I am in love and happy. Well, that was a few years ago, but essentially I always end up being in love all the time. So you see, when you write manifest, because every time I read this text, it's still valid, you know. Always find love. I guess if you're really, you look what you're seeking for. So if this is something important to you and you're always creating love and looking for love, in the end love keeps coming back to you. I feel it. It's okay. So I'm so happy I found an angel. I am in love and happy. I don't have any proof, only 1,000 reasons, and my heart taking me back to you every time I see you. When it is meant to be, no fight, no thunder or doubt can ever take us apart. As above, so below. Para siempre, mi amor. We are family. We are family. Miami, I see your path already. Don't worry, my baby. It's working wonderfully. There is a goddess on your journey, a master healer, as wild as you are. Many more years of magic, of love, wonders, and lyrics. Once we grasp this piece of a dream, we can never let go of it. This is precious. This is marvelous. A new era begins for all of us on this earth, all the way to the universe. Eternity and beyond. Adorned with our crystals, armed with a fearless soul, animated by nature, infusions, nurturing food and potions, We are getting together and taking back our power. There is so much to this world than what the eyes can see. You can feel it, you cannot deny it. They try to dig it to the core of our own body, to the abyss of our spirit, but we won't let them make us the fools of our system. They won't touch our skin unless we want it. They won't alter the purity of our kids, poison the blood of my grandchildren, or they will see a great rising of the lions, ocean, and fairies standing for humanity. Or we could surf instead. Just get some hugs and a tan, put energy into our gardens. We, the people, we choose to hold hands, in harmony and from the heart, soul, body. As of today, let's all commit. We'll fly above our demons. We will love and listen to our brothers and to the elements' whispers. The rain will come to clear our sorrows. The sun will shine for us when we're low. Together we will dance, sparkle glitters with rainbows and flowers. If you carry a smile, if you're losing your mind, we'll take you by the hand. We'll cross the bridge of our cities, build our missions, our destinies. For my bestie, I'll be better with plastic. For my auntie, we will get into politics. Each one of our actions has infinite repercussions, from the slightest intention to our society's evolution. The weather, an hologram of our mind. At any time, we can adjust and reprogram our patterns, our colors, and our smiles. It takes a village, but with the greatest of minds, mountains are gift and honor to climb. And once you reach to the top, once all the clouds have faded up, if you wonder what comes next, then don't worry about the rest. The little voice will come, and you will know from there, this achievement, all these efforts and challenges, this, my friends, is not coming to an end. This is just the beginning of a life-changing adventure, the greatest shift ever painted from our echoing dreams. Love is all, and one thing is sure, we are here to make this world a better place, to believe in magic and wonders again. Thank you for making the possible. Thank you, my angels, for making this healing happen. I know how much this was needed. This is beautiful, incredible, profound. I am in awe, in trance. I want to be the change. I rise in love, trust, compassion, and pride. Remember who you are. So this sums it all up pretty much. Our love stories, our challenges, the COVID pandemic, the dilemma, when Joe Biden got to the government, he just literally signed up and that's it. There was COVID, that came and he had to deal with that. And he talks about love redirections when, it's people who how do you call it? Pluriloves or whatever, when you love many people and then you have broken hearts and new love that comes in a journey and finding a new hope. And the conduct of all is that we're still a tribe no matter what, and we will race together for values. And it talks about also our psychic abilities, the mind, the holograms, the evolution, the power of our action. I mean, everything. It's in my book. It's on my website. You can read it. But I think every single time I've read it, and sometimes, just like the prophecies, sometimes you read, you're one character, sometimes you become another. We're shapeshifters. So when you're one consciousness, you realize that what your emotions, your feelings, sometimes you're actually feeling something that's happening to someone from your family or someone from the other side of the world. So it's important also to know what belongs to you, so you don't get caught into the rabbit hole or being constantly overthinking. But it also generates this unconditional love, because you realize that you are the other, and so you can't hurt someone. As mad as you can be, you know that if you're hurting others, you're hurting yourself as well. So and sometimes we're not perfect, and maybe I've hurt people who've hurt me as well, and they think they're doing good for me, but yet they hurt me. And in the long run, I realized that they were doing this for my own good. And when I hurt them and for my revenge, then I feel bad. But in the end, it's also a message that it needs to be out for the next one who's going to read it, and how you behave, with a partner or with a woman or that. So everything happens for a reason. You just got to know who's in your team, who you're ready to not ready to let go, or from close or far, that we're still a team. So I'm going to introduce you those people right away. So I'm not really good at coding. I'm good at decoding. At the beginning I studied marketing and communication because I was a lot into conspiracy theories. I was a rebel when I was 17, and when I was a teenager, even against my parents, so I was a lot into all the conspiracy theories, and I always felt like the media was right, were telling us lies, and I wanted to, and I knew that they were making fun of us. I would see stuff or hear them say things. I was like, they're just kidding us, and people are, I would try. So I studied that, and I was like, now I want to be able to understand the strategies, the technique, like little techniques. For example, the one that is called fear Desperate Housewives style, or embassies. Yeah, the first lady. But otherwise, we're all mothers, struggling mothers. Whatever. I'm not talking about bad stuff. I love women also. They're really great. Resonance Science Foundation. And then Robert Edward Grant, a genius who in cryptocurrency and all the ancient knowledge of Egypt, he discovered the Alpha Omega on the King's Chamber in the pyramid. He was even there when they laser tagged it on the stone. I followed the Alpha Omega expedition in Egypt. That was really interesting. His courses are good, but there's also, I'm excited about his next book that I had the honor of reading the introduction, that is called Neuromind. Okay, so I think they changed the book cover a little bit, but this is about data privacy and the implication, in the new government. He's also really good at denouncing a little bit some of the practices, the censorship, and how that's funny because they're like denouncing stuff that they are doing to me also. But I'm like, oh yeah, l'hôpital qui se fout de la charité un petit peu quand même, mais bon. But yeah, censorship, how the algorithm is now deciding, for who gets exposure. So he's talking about that. He was talking about constitutional rights of privacy, and I can't remember. I just read the introduction and I was so excited about it. You have to read this book. I wrote, all right. Surpass oil as the world's most valuable asset today. Data is heavily exploited by big tech, large corporations, and political action committees to both predict and modulate our collective and individual consciousness. This data is fueling a data economy that is impacting nations, families, and individuals alike, while fostering increased societal polarities and extreme views, resulting in less and less empathy, openness to countervailing opinion and viewpoint. Neuromind is a provocative book that highlights the current and potential impact of this new data economy, its implication to society at large, democracy, and now even threatening our collective perception of the world's individual, as well as the rights and freedom associated with our individuality together. The illusion of choice is maintained for the public good health. Freedom of speech is increasingly under assault, and even free thought is often termed unacceptable by an ever-increasing, expanding government narrative, political bias, and mass manipulation through the latest weapons of 21st century propaganda, selective digital exposure. Thank you very much. All is said. Yeah, but I think what he says, like when, because we're exposing so much violence, we're exposing so much traumas by telling our stories and stuff, which I do all the time. It's good because I feel like sometimes it's my own therapy at the same time, and it can help people who go through the journey like develop empathy. But it can also be the opposite. It can also create being so exposed to wars, traumas, people crying and everything, that you just become immune to it, and you're like, oh, whatever, this chick wants, is depressed and wants to jump from bridge or whatever, we're used to it, so sometimes exposing too much is not also, is detrimental because it removes the empathy, that people have, even though it takes a lot of courage to actually express your feelings in front of the public. But then it develops a habit that people pay less and less attention, even though the discourse is, oh, we are for empathy, we are for taking imminent action, and then nothing happens, So there is a big gap between the words that are being said and the actions that are taken behind it. And this is a big thing right now that I see everywhere, you know, and people that say, yeah, you have to invest into each other, yeah, but not her, right? But not this person, or not this person, or it's very selective, or the process are made so difficult. And I really feel like there is a gap right now being created between the massive rich and the family. I'm saying this because when I invite friends or talk to people, you know, parents of my friends, or meet people or whatever, mostly here in Jacksonville, I do not know one wealthy person. I do not know one person who's come here or whom I've been to who's like, oh my god, we're so rich. Like, no, every single person is struggling financially. They're worried to lose their jobs. They're you know, they're like can't bring something because they don't have the funds. I'm like, that's crazy. Out of all these people, that's society, right? But anyways, why partnerships is important? Because you see, he's a businessman. He's also a scientist. He has experience in the pharmaceutical, but he's doing conferences everywhere, and by speaking message and bringing this knowledge, and also a spirit of rebellion. You know, these people, they encouraged me when I was ashamed of speaking my message. Sometimes they triggered me on purpose. They were assholes to me on purpose, sometimes just to force me to let it out, to be like, hey, you're gonna let people treat you like that, or you're gonna speak up and stand up for yourself, you know? And this is, well, now maybe too much, I don't know, but a skill that maybe one day when I work again, try to talk to an oil company to negotiate a transition, and the guy is literally making fun of me or not answering my phone calls, or he's like, yeah, whatever, we don't care, where you know, have learned that they are not gonna win that. Okay, I'm gonna track them down until they pick up, and until we actually implement the laws that the government, the United Nations, and everybody agreed on. And just because of their profit and their habits, and they don't want to, we've always done like that, you know. You need to have enough boldness to go ahead and confront them in a nice way, but you still need to be that person. You need to be that bitch at some point. Okay, so and of course, decoding the ancient knowledge. Okay, I'm not here to make a presentation, right? Partnerships. So, who do we have yet? The United Nations. Haha, my new friends, Kim Kardashian, okay, and Jillo. They're so cute because sometimes I post something and then they amplify it, right? They make it all better. They use the inspirations through the art. No, Esteban, this is right in my head. I can hear it. Turn off the volume if you want. Okay, so the partnerships with superstars in Hollywood, or fashion, or the music industry. See here, I'm putting my little partnership paintings next to me. Or Terramana Tequila, you know, The Rock, then Dwayne Johson, people that have massive exposure. Or Matthew Mc Conaughey, that did a challenge with Dean Graziosi. Okay, all these alliances between Hollywood and different fields of expertise, of exposure. We all have a different audience, okay? So we all can bring the message at different level in entertainment, in nerds, scientists, politicians, activists, hippies, humanitarians, artists, or mothers, you know? So you harmonize. Not saying we all have to be the same, don't get me wrong, but to pass some laws, like for example revoking the Second Amendment, or removing the massive assault weapons law. Someone like Matthew Mc Conaughey, that is more like a roots, you know, kind of, hey, it's okay to drink beer and stuff. Maybe he's following, they're more like guys, things like that. Maybe a few, you know, like hunters, rednecks, guys, I don't know, like country men, country boys, whatever. I'm not stereotypes, right? we used to hang out. We used to go shooting with my ex in the woods and stuff. So I'm used to that. But then he gets that exposure, and all of a sudden, boom, he's dropping a message against the weapons. Hey, it's not cool that some kids are being killed in school like that. Maybe we can change our habits a little bit, and we can vote that law and stuff. So people have a great influence, because mostly in Hollywood, where they've been promoting violence and shotguns and killing and punching. Yeah, it's a movie, guys, okay? Except that people who see that in a movie, they think it's cool to reproduce outside of the movie theater, okay? So it's important that these people, these movie stars, they have a speech outside of there to control the masses. So the day that they actually pass the law and they will invoke the Second Amendment, these people are already prepared mentally, and they're not going to go in the street and start going crazy and shooting people all around just to prove their point that this was their right from the Second Amendment from 3 centuries ago, when the structure of the country and the society was absolutely different, completely different. Okay, so this is how the partnerships are so important, of the goals of peace and stuff. Then partnerships, I want to also mention the banks and the National Debt Relief Program, because this is so incredible for the economy. You see, I'm so grateful for my banks. Navy Federal, when I got married, they gave me a credit card, a $25,000 credit card. What were they thinking? But seriously, I'm grateful, because I could build my own business. I could travel to see my family, my grandma. My son has been to France twice. I got to go to Egypt. I never missed a payment on my credit card. Only after I got divorced, and when I got divorced, I wasn't worried. I was like, I'm going to find a job right away. I was confident that everything I worked for, I was going to find a job quickly. It's been 2 years. I still didn't find a job, so I couldn't make my payment. I got bankrupt. I mean, I avoided bankruptcy thanks to the National Debt Relief Program, which took all of my debt from my 5 credit cards, because when I learned that I was going to have to hand back all of my credit cards, I subscribed to 2 more credit cards, okay, and took all the cash out that I could, just so I could see coming, okay. So because I was worried, I was like, now I don't have an income, I don't have my credit cards anymore, I'm gonna have to pay that program every month. What am I gonna do? I'm super stressed, okay. I started having white hair now because of that. I found white hair the other day. That's unacceptable. And so National Debt Relief Program, they take your debt, they say you stop paying your credit cards, but you have to be involved in the program before you stop paying your credit cards. Stay in the law, okay, to remove the stress from you. Be always in the, so you subscribe to the program, and then they tell you stop paying your credit card for 2 months or 3 months. Then you're going to start receiving letters from them telling you, hey, what's going on? You're not paying your cards. And you don't respond. You don't have to respond. If you want to respond to them, you just tell them, hey, I'm not going to pay that. I'm already going through debt relief program. They're going to contact you really soon. Okay, and then they take over, they contact their lawyers, and they negotiate the debt, and they manage to cut. They negotiate how much you owe. So let's say you owe $5,000 in that credit card. They're gonna, hey, okay, we're gonna pay you $1,000 instead of $5,000. We're gonna give you $2,500 or $3,000. Okay, so they manage to lower all of your debt for a fee, right? But instead of $35,000, then I only owe $25,000. So it's not half of it, because you have a huge fee. My fee for $35,000 debt, they were like, we're going to cut it in half, but we're getting an $8,000 fee. So essentially, you're paying back $25,000 to us, but we're still saving you $10,000. So, $10,000 still helps. It's still a lot, but then you have to pay that every month. But know that there is a lot of help efforts that are made right now from the banks and the governments to help people that are going through a tough time. And even I wasn't shy. I tagged them all on Facebook. I tagged all of my banks, and I told them, thank you guys, that was amazing. I did this with your money. I'm not gonna pay anymore. But I'm so grateful because you gave me the chance to do that. You gave me the chance to pay my bills. You relieved, me to make decisions in my life, and we wanted to get a divorce and all of that. So these are partners. Okay, the banks, they're also our partners. Don't forget that they're giving you a credit card, they're giving you a chance, they're giving you their money. Even though, if you go to find my Journey to Crypto workshop that is available on my website right now, we will explain to you with Kyle that the banks are actually making money out of your debt. So this is what you don't know. That you think, oh, they're kind enough to give me money. They're actually staking out of your debt, and by lending you money, they're actually making money. So they're generous, but they're also businessmen. So don't feel too guilty. That's what I say. Women are sacred. So National Indigenous Women's Resources Center. So this is the kind of local national organizations that act at the community level to promote the culture for women of communities that maybe either are immigrants or indigenous or Native American, and that want to preserve their ancestral culture, so that may be less integrated in the society, therefore less exposed to the law and their rights. Maybe they're most retired geographically, right? So yeah, and so of course Mr. Joe Biden, his father used to tell him, Joe, a job is a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity, it's about respect, it's about being able to look at your kid in the eye and say, it's gonna be okay, and mean it. I love that when he says this story, because he's really one of the people, and this is actually the introduction of my book, a quote from the Tablets of Emerald, and it says, the laws that they were different but one with the children of men. And the United Nations, of course. Am I forgetting anybody? So the United Nations, I made my previous video all about it. Oh yeah, you can see that the communication director changed because the graphs are so much different. And of course here you see brilliant picture of Putin puts warship armed with hypersonic missiles on combat duty. So this is Vladimir Putin here monitoring the war from his office, and I believe that establishing partnerships and putting more of a game aspect, between our military is gonna maybe appease the tensions and be able to stop and help them, invite them to come and join the transition through our pilots and our spacecraft and Thunderbirds and engineers and stuff like that, to organize the Space Olympics in 2030 and to remove that from our land and take this over to Sky Olympics and giant laser tag in the sky, right? So you see in the book, you also have graphic designs, things that you can use your tracing paper to use in your own paintings. The workshop, so this is a beautiful from Adam Apollo, a spaceship view from Adam Apollo. You see already manifesting the Space Olympics, so we can have Russian astronauts in the sky and Ukrainians and America, France, Europe, all of that. So some logo here. We have NASA, the Blue Angels. But yeah, and of course, the United Nations with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, okay, equality for everybody, peace. It's unjust that some countries are just always the same countries facing discrimination and tough and everything. So I think I got all the partners. Okay, Lulumineuse also, French, you know, the original angel. So let's talk about this book that she recommended a while ago, The Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East. I'm going to read intuitively a passage, okay, just for the fun. I'm going to take the book of the book number, the last book. Okay, I'm going to take the last book because this is the last video. So let's see, volume, which one is the last one? Volume 6, volume 2, volume 6. Okay, let's do page 143, volume 6. All right. You have thought up every spurious tale. You have thought up, printed, and repeated every spurious tale that can be imagined about the Christ, also the man Jesus, when in reality, he has always represented and is today representing the true Christ that is residing and always has residing within every individual, representing the God-man, the clean, the true, immaculate into full life and form. This temple, Emmanuel, is in as complete form within the first cell as the true form of the tree that the acorn will grow is contained at the very heart cell of the acorn, and the Christ form does come forth perfect from the first cell as human perversity is held in abeyance. What is that? Oh, manuscripts and papers. Oh, okay, so these are kind of the archives at the end of the... That's crazy that they're talking about the Christ consciousness at the page 143. You know what 143 is, right? If you follow me, I know I tag team 143 in every single one of my posts. I'm not going to tell you. I can't reveal all my secrets. You got to figure that one out, okay? What it means. Now speak to the Christ within and ask the Christ, who am I? The answer will always be, you are God. For the Christ speaks only absolute truth. Then take no other view. The Christ is always right. The cloud walkers of Kashmir. There is a divine science, and that is the science of the mind of all humanity. All of our knowledge is based upon knowledge in which we go from the less general to the greater, or from the general to the particular. Yet it has experience as its basis. In what we call exact science, people easily find the truth. I swallowed the bug. Woo! Holy moly! I thought this stuff only happened to Taylor Swift, but no, he's here, guys. All right, that was the Christ within me, right? And I woo! All right, so funny that it talks about the Christ, but it also says how it's within all of us. So essentially, it's talking also about the flower of life, the initial cell, and the vesica piscis that then develops into the flower of life that you have within you, and that talks about in the book also, okay, the flower of life, the flower of fire, the creativity, the knowledge, the beginning of a project, but also your divine connection, okay, the universe, the highest consciousness, all of that, what makes that we are all one. The empathy essentially is recognizing that if someone is being mistreated in front of you, that could be you, okay? When people are talking about refugees and they're saying whether if or not we should help them, that is not the question. The question is, how can we help them? Recognize that this person could be you, and then you're going to see it differently. You're going to be like, why isn't everybody trying to help me right now? You know? So then also If you're an empath, you have to learn to detach. Also, if you feel responsible for this is one of my lessons, because I felt responsible for every single person I met. Every single mom, when I got divorced, every single mom that I met with kids that was struggling, every single new business that was starting, every single homeless child that I would see even online on the other side of the world, every single thing, I felt responsible for it. I was like, I have to give them my money, I have to bring them in my home, I have to buy from their business. You know, it was like, okay, then I got broke, I lost my sanity, because then I felt like I didn't do it to get a return, but at some point I was like, wait, when is this coming back to me? Like, when is it my turn also that someone does it, you know, for me? And and then I completely stopped. I was like, okay, now I need to learn to say, I need to put my life on track first before I go and help other people. I need to put my life on track first, then I will help the others, you know. So we all have our lessons to learn. Too much empathy is not good, because otherwise you're going to be in constant suffering. You see one person being mistreated and you're in freaking anxiety attack for the rest of the day. This is not what you want either, you know. So finding the balance. Gateway of light activation from Kyle Gray. Beautiful oracle. Okay, so let's pull some cards and then we will conclude with the magical times. Okay, thank you everybody for watching this series of video. Come here.
Look.
No, babe, look, we're on a camera. So right now, if you're on the phone with someone, before I take it from you, listen. When you're in direct, pause it. I'm talking to you. When you're on the phone with people, what do? You're ignoring, like doing like they don't exist, or if someone's talking, you're acting like they don't exist, or you come and you say something nice, like hello everybody. Hello everybody. Come on, Esteban. Hello everybody. Right, okay. See, Nintendos are really great for development and communication, really.
Can I tell him something?
Huh?
Can I tell him something?
No, we're busy right now. Here, pick a card.
I got it.
One card.
I want to pick these.
Just one. Give me one. Thank you. Shambhala initiation. Retreating to recharge. Trusting the process. Dharma. Here, turn it off because I'm talking. Esteban, I'm going to take it from you anyways. 5 minutes. Shambhala initiation. Retreating to recharge. Trusting the process. And Dharma. This is exactly what we were talking about. So this is the last episode. So now I'm gonna stop running after people. I'm gonna recharge. I'm gonna trust the process. It would be a shame to miss out on each other, really. But Dharma, I was saying, when is it coming back to me? This is the Dharma. It's the good karma. All the things, all the seeds that you've planted, the people that you've helped or tried to help. Where you felt like you failed, maybe you were planting the seeds, and the Dharma registers everything. There is always, trust me, there is always someone watching. If you're doing something wrong, you're gonna pay for it. Okay, if you're doing something right, maybe you're doing something really great and it needs time to reach out to you, you know. And I believe, like, when I see my new network that is expanding and everything, I'm like, this is beyond what I could imagine when I got married and started the painting and everything. That would be amazing for me, doing all these projects, everything I've been talking about in all these videos. There is no other way, like I said, but I keep talking about it. There's no other way that it's going to manifest, okay? Because I've seen it so much, manifested so much. So it needed time for it to attract it, because this is so big that it's gotta actually manifest in my life. And there was stuff that needed to be completed as well. Okay, so trust that Remember that. It can take years to build a palace, to build an empire. It takes just 1 minute to destroy it. Okay? You bomb. One bomb. Destroy. It's easier to destroy than it is to create. Creating takes a long time. And it's the same, I believe, for the karma and the dharma. Maybe the punishment is immediate. Maybe the rewards take a long time. But because it's massive, it also takes more time. If you want an empire, it takes many years to build. So remember that. Always trying to step back to see the bigger outcome, because if not, if you live in everyday life, day-to-day life, it's difficult to keep going. You're like, no, it's not producing anything. My friends, they're like, what, you can pay your bills and go. Yeah, I should look for another job until then. But I also learned in my times of transitions to enjoy the moment, when I was always worried, what am I going to do after? Is this going to work? Is it not? And then when it did work, I was like, see, instead of worrying every day, I should have played with my cat, played with my son, enjoyed the moment. So, so now I'm constantly worried and I'm not enjoying my time off. And I'm like, I completed all that. Maybe I should, this is going to manifest, come to me. If it doesn't, if in 2 months I'm not working at the United Nations, I'm gonna disappear. You would never heard about me, because I feel like everything I've created and built and all my vision boards and all of that, for it to manifest, if it doesn't work, is the proof that magic does not exist. This is fantasy, right? And I'm not doing this for fantasy. I'm trying to prove the power of magic and spelling and manifesting, for it to become real, and how you can transform your life through all of these trainings and through efforts and consistency, persistence, persuasion, and vision. Also, that visionaries and hippies and going through the appearances and reputation and every whatever thing that's thrown at you can't stop you if you believe in your destiny and you're working for it, and you don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Okay, so that's also the goal at the beginning of, before helping the people and changing the world and everything. This is also a personal revenge, right, to prove my point. And I'm sure, I trust that it will manifest. And if it doesn't, then everybody stop believing in magic. You're wasting your time. Don't even start. Okay, go work at McDonald's, because they're hiring there. All right, guys, magical times. Do you believe in magic or not? Tell me. Magical Time by Jody Bergsma. Okay, we're gonna give her the last word. Oh no, I refuse. Okay, I'm gonna pull 3 cards, okay? Because you're also the master of your cards, and okay, you can change the cards that you have in hand. You don't need to let some cards rule your destiny. Okay, this is for inspiration. Yeah, this is better. Thank you. All right, so we got 3 cards. Okay, one's for the past, one for the present, one for the future. You can interpret your readings the way you want it as well. Okay, so one for the past, the sanctuary. Embrace the need for solitude. Your inner sanctuary calls you. Renew yourself and thrive. Okay, so this is the past few years, right? Or maybe this is you now. I don't know. Embrace the need for solitude. That was it. I'm done. I'm good. I embraced it a lot. Yeah, great. Okay, next. Woo. No, it's great to learn to be by yourself. Really. Reconciliation. This is the present. This is what we're talking about today. We started with reconciliation, the great reconciliation. Remember the source of love. A loving action is all you need to begin the process. Reach out with a simple first step. Beautiful. And it's crazy because it's also the colors of the page I was reading earlier. reconciliation. And the future, prosperity. Woo! Prosperity with 3 little frogs. And what is that? An arc crystal. They had these Celtic notes on it with like a bat and some frogs. Focus on the positive and more good will come. Give thanks for blessings and they will multiply. Prosperity begins in the mind. That's true. That's true. Be grateful for the blessing, grateful for the network, grateful for the time that you had watching all this. I hope that you found it interesting. I know already, I see the results in everybody. Marketing and graphic design, I see the influence of those who follow, so that warms my heart, that see that I could at least have an influence at some point. And I'm looking forward to work with all of you guys. I thank you very much for watching this series. Ooh, it's like an end, but it's just the beginning. Everybody, take care, be safe, love you very much. Bye. Come say bye-bye, Esteban.
Yes, you.
Okay.